attention and how much they value you, and it's not very much. So the thing with that is you just walk away. Like, that's the most empowering thing, because when you walk away, you're making your conscious decision to follow, what means something and it is important to you, how you want to be treated. So that's an important thing, is unless you do that, it's going to degrade who you are, because you're avoiding taking that action. So it's very important for those around us and close to us that, there's not discussions, but, it's boundaries are set. So, people can't just talk to us how they want to talk to us. They talk to us within an acceptable and tolerable limit. Things like, being aggressive and shouting. Like, that's not acceptable. So, if someone's forcing or expecting other people to accept that kind of behavior, you have to enforce boundaries. And the easiest way to do that is just, if you act like that, I'm just not going to be around you. Like, taking yourself out of the situation is the best course of action, because it's the most empowering course of action. And when you take actions of empowerment, they propel you in life and empower you to make better decisions. They put you in a state of empowerment. If you don't take any action, you stay disempowered. So the only way to empower yourself is to empower yourself through action and decision making. So it's not until the action is taken that the empowerment is received. But in the moment of taking the action, the empowerment is there. So that's the key, is just understanding this, because then we understand that in all decision making, the point of empowerment is when decision is acted upon. So once we make a decision and act on it, that's when we feel empowered about it. Regardless of, our internal narratives and things like that, that is when we it's like, once we step onto the path, we are walking the path. So, that's a very important aspect of it, because then it is, well, if I want to be someone who, let's say, I grew up with narcissists and I had the choice to be a narcissist or to change. And I chose to change. And in the moment of choosing to change is when the change happens. There is no extra. It's just every moment after, the change is enforced. And we halt and curb that behavior, and we're consciously aware of how our words and, language affects other people, and then we alter it, and we consider other people. Like, we just take the opposite actions to what a narcissist would take, and then we just build that into routines. And that's how you overcome it. But in the moment of action, when you first enact it, it is done. Now it is just doing the work of every day, upholding it. And it becomes the easiest thing, because we understand that if I focus on it and I tell myself that is the enjoyable thing and I enjoy this, what's going to happen is my energy reserves, where I consciously focus energy and how much energy I'm going to expend on different things, shifts, because I seek to, focus on what I enjoy in life. So when I say I enjoy, being a highly respectful person, when I take actions in the moment to be highly respectful, I get pleasure out of that. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin. So it becomes easier for me to invest into taking those actions, because the rewards are so high. And it typically takes about 90 days before that becomes a habit. And all we do is we consciously take decisions and make decisions and act on them. And then we tell ourselves in narrative and meaning that this is the most pleasurable, enjoyable thing to do. So this is how we build up a training regime. We just go to the gym and tell ourselves, this is exactly where I want to be. I love this place. I'm having fun. And we just keep telling ourselves and like reinforcing that narrative to the point where that narrative just becomes like natural conversation in our mind, to where our mind is always saying, I really enjoy working out at the gym. We should do more of that. So, understanding this is just understanding that I am not the decision to go to the gym. I am not the action of going to the gym. I am the one that implements that in, and then just experiences what I want to experience in life, because that's all life is experience. So if I want to travel, for example, I make a decision where I would like to travel, and then I enact it and travel. And the whole point isn't the destination, it's the experience of getting to the destination. So that's what we're seeking in life, is the experiences. We get into relationships not for the status of the relationship, to say I have a relationship. It's for the experience of the relationship. But we forget that, and then we focus in on the more material aspects of the relationship and not the experiential. And that's how relationships break down in terms of like boredom, and how people sort of separate is because like the start is usually about the experience, and then we sort of stop focusing on the experience. So like the experience of being in love, the experience of dating, all these different things. So it's important to consciously become aware that the purpose of any action that we take is the experience that we have while taking that action. It's not the outcome. Because if we focus on the outcome, that's sort of like racing through life just to die. Like, what's the point? You're dead, now what? Like, does that make sense? So what's the point about missing the journey just to get to the destination if the destination is the final end? Like, that's like fast forwarding a movie until the last 2 minutes and just watching that and being like, woo, job done. So it's important to understand that, like, the experience of anything we're doing in life. So when we're working, let's say we're, doing landscaping. It's the experience of landscaping, of, trimming trees, trimming grass, working on properties and things like that. Like it's these different experiences, and if we're not enjoying the experience, then it's sort of, we don't want to associate a lot of time or energy to it. So you'll notice this in whatever your interest or focus is, like that you get enjoyment from. So if it's movies, you can sit down and watch movies for 18 hours straight and it's effortless. But then going out and potentially, running 5 kilometers is the most difficult thing, because the amount of energy that you're willing to value or give to that is so low, because over here, because naturally what we're doing is we reserve our energy, okay? So we always seek to conserve energy. So if I'm doing something that I like, I'm not using energy. If I'm doing something that I don't like, I'm using energy. So it's sort of like if you love football and you play football, because you're enjoying it and you're having so much fun and you're in the moment, it's not as exhausting as if you were to go out there and sort of just do a workout for 40 to 80 minutes. Like, that's an important thing, is that the things we enjoy in life, and what we enjoy in life, are the things that give us pleasure. So the things and the actions and behaviors and environments and situations and people that give us pleasure are the people that we enjoy. Like, we choose to say, I enjoy this person, I enjoy this experience. And then we create the terminology of, it gives me pleasure. And then what happens is that becomes a flag for our subconscious mind that when I want pleasure, I go there. And I do that behavior or activity. So, for example, when we're in a state of emotional, upset or something like that, we will move to a movie that gives us a certain level of pleasure. So emotional pleasure or something like that, or it makes us happy, or it's a comedy or something like that, And that's important because it's just that's naturally what we do. If we want something, we just go and get it. But the psychological construct or the identity of self creates all these barriers in between that say you have to do this, this, and this, and this before you can get it. And that's a funny thing because it's all just artificial. So you get to choose, if you want to do that, you get to choose all the artificial barriers. But if you don't want to do that, you just get to choose to have it. So what do I mean by have it is, if you want a better relationship with your partner, you can just be better, irrelevant and regardless of what they do. So they can spit in your face and you can just choose to be better and happy. You know what I mean? But, if they spit in your face, you turn around, walk away and just say, see ya. But regardless, you get to choose if that was a negative event where, someone you love just spit in your face and betrayed you and disrespected you and hurt you, or do you just choose to go that's okay, I just don't have to invest any more time in that person. It's all good and hood. There's more out there. That's the important thing is, if we become emotionally attached to the things that we have in life and to what is in our environment, we're losing something. If we're not emotionally attached to it, to material things or what is in our environment, we never had anything to lose in the first place. It was an experience and the experience came to an end. Now on to a new experience. And that's important because that allows us to move happily through life. Not to say that that's, an excuse that you can just, manipulate and use people, because that'll never make you happy. That's going to destroy your identity of self. So it's important to understand, what, and choose what are the aspects of life that you want to experience and how you want to experience it. And then you go out and experience it. And that's the point of life, in terms of everything else is meaningless. For example, you can love your career, and absolutely be passionate about it. But the most important thing is the experience that you have while you're doing, actions within your career. That's where the highest amount of joy is, in the experiences you're going through. So it's not so much the career on paper, it's the career enacted that is important. Just to the same in relationships, it's not about the relationship on paper, but it's about the relationship enacted. That's where the importance is, because it can be a great relationship on paper or career on paper, but if we're not valuing or enjoying the experience of enacting it, what is the point to it? We're sort of just running the motions and sort of waiting. And that's how a lot of people live life, is sort of waiting. And it's sort of what I mean by waiting is not going for the job that they want, the dream job, not risking it to live in the place where they want to live. They might want to travel, but it's sort of family and work and things like that. And it's sort of waiting for retirement, waiting for money to be better, waiting for this. And when we start businesses, we do the same, where it's sort of I'm going to invest. And it's sort of there are two ways that we can look at it, that we're waiting for the business to take off and to get the returns that we want, or we're experiencing the journey of getting there. And that's the difference, is when we're in the mind frame of waiting, we're just killing time until we get to what we want. Whereas if we're experiencing it, we're sort of experiencing each step and stage, but also we're aware of everything that's happening because it holds value to us, each step. So, you know, that's really important, because if we get stuck in that waiting, it's similar to being stuck in the conscious mind. We create a framework of a prison cell around us and cage ourselves in to, I can only experience this until I hit X milestone. I can only, you know, take this action unless Y happens. So it's important, because at any point in time, we can take the action and have what we want. But there's all these invisible cages within our minds around the things we want, because we need conditional entry. So we need to meet conditions to gain access to them. So it's sort of like, you know, I can't find the love of my life until my career is, you know, steady and stable and, you know, going. Or I can't do this until I'm out of, you know, study and things like that. Like, it's all these different, you know, narratives or reasons why, or stories that we create within our mind about the meaning behind everything. And the thing is that we create that meaning. So if we're getting stuck into thinking that, you know, that meaning is the meaning, but you can change that meaning at any time. So, you know, your meaning can go from, until I have this, I can't have the ideal relationship, to, I'm going to get the ideal relationship now. Or I'm going to do this now. I'm going to enact some form of action towards my goal. Because that's the important thing about manifestation, is that manifestation is visualizing and constructing it, and then it's about pulling that visualization into reality through the actions we take and the belief we hold. If we believe the actions we will take will bear fruit, we will take actions with the, like, belief that each action should be taken at its highest form. So we should put as much effort into what we do to make sure that it is, you know, the best we can do. But if I don't believe that the actions I'm going to have will take root, well, why would I invest so much time when I can just get it out there? So it's a little bit different, but it creates a level of comfort that when we believe that the actions we take will bear fruit, I can just focus on the actions I need to take and taking them to the best of my abilities. Whereas if I don't believe that, then I'm wondering and looking for what are gonna be the actions that will bear fruit. So it's very funny like that, because just that shift in frame of mind and thinking, okay, of understanding that, you know, if I can visualize what I want, and I believe that the actions that I feel an urge to take are the right actions and will bear fruit, and I take action on them with that belief, I am able to, you know, do anything. And that's the truth of manifestation, but there's a certain path you have to walk. So the point isn't that we're trying to get to the end goal. It's that if I just live every day like this, I will live my dream life. It doesn't matter if I reach any point. Like, these are the ideals of the actions I want to take every day. So if I do that, like, every day I'm doing exactly what I want in life. I am living my dream life, irrespective of whatever perception may be. Because if you feel 100%, you know, because that's what financial freedom is, everyone chases, so that they can just take that sigh of relief and relax and not have to worry about finances and actually be able to do what they want in life. When the truth is, you can just do whatever you want to do in life and find a way to fund it, either through work or through things. So, you know, like, for example, some people, you know, they work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and then every second outside of work they're out fishing and, you know, doing what they want to do, camping and stuff like that. Like, you know, the ideal is to be able to do that every day, but if we can't do it every day, we can do it, you know, 3 or 4 days, or 2 or 3 days a week, and things like that. So it's sort of like working it out, but when we don't need the perceived, you know, we're not trying to impress other people to make them think we're better than we are. If we just focus on doing what we want to do in life, life becomes a lot cheaper. We don't need as much to get the same amount of enjoyment. Alright, well, I hope you understand what I mean, and I hope you understand what I'm saying. And this one's been fun, so I'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. Bye.